Welcome back to the Tennessippi States Only Challenge. After Season 2 did not go necessarily as we were hoping. Opening the season, we had 4 very close games and easily could have been 4-0 out the gate. Unfortunately, most of the games didn't go our way. We went 1-3. After that point, things started to get progressively worse till we hit this midway point, and by that point, we found it very clear that we were not making it to the playoffs. So once again, like the previous year, we started to put in the young guys and we started trading back and forth win-loss all the way down to week 18, where we ended up breaking that streak with another loss to the Jaguars. And while the team definitely saw its struggles, one player did not. Jalen Hyatt was the MVP of our season. Unfortunately, not only did he not get a bid to the Pro Bowl, he wasn't even in the runnings for being one of the top receivers in just the AFC. In fact, we only had one player win an award, and that was Jake Elliott taking home Best Kicker. Only Pro Bowler? That was Laremy Tunsil, though he's moving into his 11th season, and there is no certainty that he is sticking around. But with a roster that is heavily favoring the offense, we have got to improve the defense. And that is where we start here in our second offseason. But the year officially comes to an end with a 27-24 Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl win. Over the top of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Geno Stone, the free safety, is the MVP. And you can see the rest of the yearly awards over on that right-hand side. And of course, getting started, the media wants to know what our plan is this offseason. And as mentioned earlier, I definitely want to see us upgrade the defense. But where is going to be the best way to do that? Probably is going to be in the draft. As we had taken a look, areas of need for our defense, there really isn't anyone for us to sign that would fill out what they would require for us. So draft a difference maker in the first 3 rounds, 80+ overall, sleeper in the 5 to 7. Probably easier for a sleeper in the 5 to 7. So that is what we're going to aim for. We need a complete draft class to really not only build up starting talent, but some depth talent as well. But good news to open up the offseason, Laremy Tunsil did not end up retiring. And in fact, he didn't even end up regressing whatsoever. So he is still holding strong at a true 94 overall, taking away the morale, lowering that overall, and he's still a superstar. Potentially, depending on what this offseason looks for us, maybe a trade of Laremy Tunsil to fill in some key spots should be on the table. And while we did not see the regression of Laremy Tunsil, we did see DK Metcalf lose his X-Factor ability. So not only X-Factor, he lost his superstar. So he is now just down to a star because he has not been that involved in the offense as we were expecting. Good news though, we did not lose the X-Factor for now second-year corner in Golson. But now getting to actual off-season things. Need to resign a few players here. Cedric Johnson, I would love to keep him around. He's looking for a 2-year deal, just over 7.5 per season. So what we are going to offer instead is a 3-year deal that would take us to the end of this series with $8 million total per season. 5 in salary, 3 in bonus. We'll put in that offer. But he's just not interested in signing. That's a little bit disappointing. He did just go up to a star dev, so I'm sure there will be people interested in signing him. If we wanted to look at franchise tagging him, it would be paying him an extra $10 million per season, so that is not going to happen. Next player I would like to keep around, Cedric Tillman, because if for some reason we do also look to lighten some of the players that we have in the receiving group, Tillman would see some more playing time. So this would put him at about his expectation for a 2-year deal. We're offering him a 3-year deal. In fact, we will bump this up even more, make it 3 years, $5 million per season. He is also going to test. Other guys, we are moving on from Alexander Johnson. He's been our starting linebacker for 2 years. Well, he is seeing some major aggression at age 34. Trying to move off of him, Arthur Mallette, same kind of situation. Oren Burks, another guy who's been starting, moving off of. Benito Jones, we might look to bring back depending on what our options are. Kevin Guyton, depth for the offensive line, as well as Mason Brooks. Both of those two we might end up bringing back. Terrence Williams, a running back who we didn't see at all last year, but maybe he ends up coming back. But it wasn't all bad when it came to player re-signings. We did have one player actually re-sign, and that was Zach Evans, locking him down for the duration. It's a $3 million offer per year for 3 years. Now, as for open free agency, here are the players we're going after. Kenneth Gainwell, we weren't running that often last year, but he's a really good player, and we just need to add good players when they're available. He's out of Memphis. Juwan Jennings, we've tacked him onto the list. In case we do end up making a trade with one of our receivers, we are still trying to also bring in Cedric Tillman. We've offered a very large contract here for Cedric Johnson. It's a 5-year deal worth $12 million per season, which is much bigger than his current expected value of like a 2 to 3 year deal worth about 7.5. That just gets us into the runnings here with the Giants and LA. It's not certain he will come back, which is why we are also offering to Preston Smith. This is a much shorter deal that would just give us a little bit of a bridge player. So we're going to put in our first set of offers here. All but Gainwell have decided. And we do not bring back Johnson. We do get Jennings, Smith, and Tillman returned. So that is a big loss. And there's not really that many other players here in open free agency for us to go after that are going to be impact players. Depth players are the only thing left. So for Gainwell, we will evaluate until he ends up joining, which is not the second round, third round. He has decided, and he does wrap out our open free agency. It's pretty small. We added some impact players, but it's really the draft that we're focusing on. And as for the draft, we've got a lot of big decisions to make. There are holes on this roster now, some of which we didn't have before. I was expecting we would be able to keep some help for the defensive line. Well, not the case. Obviously, Ethan Webb is a phenomenal offensive lineman. Talked about him at the end of last episode, so I'm not going to spend much time on him here because he is our top prospect. But now with Johnson gone, you have to consider how we replace him. And there is Jose Dockery here, who is a power rusher. He's 6'4". He's not necessarily the strongest, 26 to 29 reps, runs slightly under a 5-second 40. But there is A power moves, A play recognition, as well as B block shedding with A awareness. Even toss that in there. There's a lot of really good here. There is D injury. He's a true talent of 1 to 2. So it puts into question then, do we end up making some of those big trades? Do we look to move off of Laramie Tunsil, especially if we do end up getting Ethan Webb, which again is the main target? Because you also got to remember, we need massive help at linebacker, and there is Morgan Pittman, who's around 2 to 3 true round 1 talent. We could try to snag him with our top second round pick, or our early second round pick. He's 6'3", 234, listed as a run stopper out of Vandy. He's got really good speed, some good strength to his game. Cover skills aren't awful either. B zone, C man, has A awareness, A for play rec as well. Catching is a C. I mean, this dude can make some things happen. He even has some pass rush ability with A power moves. I think for sure the top guys we have to make sure we get in this draft class, as I always have to fix this, Madden just work, is Webb and Pittman. Past that, we can then start to pick and choose. Another guy I think will be pretty integral here is Jake Miller. Some more help for our offensive line because we need it. He moved up from around 3 to 4 to a true round 2 to 3. He's got strength. All in all, he's a really good athlete at center. He's shifted towards pass blocking, not necessarily the best run blocker, though just true run blocking is a B. It's the finesse and power that is a little bit behind. There's a lot of really good talent. This is probably the best possible draft class or run of draft classes we've had in these series, and of course it happens to be the final one. As for Austin Branch, he did not see the success that the rest of the guys in this unit do. He went from around 3 to 4 to a potential undrafted, so not necessarily going to focus much on him, but there's some more talent to look at. Some late round help potentially for the offensive line, defensive line as well. There is Braden Reynolds. He is a speed rusher in the day 3. 21 years old, 6'2", 258. He's definitely on the lighter side. Packs about just as much strength as the guy we looked at from the earlier round. A little bit faster than him, but just not overall a great player. Block shedding is a D, power move C, finesse is at a B, but injury is really good for him. It's an A. And then potentially one guy even way down here, we're talking about perhaps a 7th, 6th round pick, is Mitchell White, another guy to help our offensive line. Potential undrafted true day 3 talent. He is a pass protector with some good strength, but definitely he's not going to do anything when it comes to the running game, and he does have some weakness in his pass pro. Now, the good news for us is we actually have indeed the top pick, first overall. And we're definitely not going with Joe Paxton, a fullback. We will be going after Ethan Webb, but with him projected to go 2nd here in mock draft 4, there will be no trade down. If we are to move back up into this round, as they actually have Josie Dockery as a top 5, so it does not look like it's going to be much of a possibility to move into the top 5 to get him. What would end up having to be the case then would be Laramie Tunsil and a handful of potentially other picks to even move this far up. So we'll keep our options open, but it's looking pretty thin. So with the game plan set, there's really no need to muddle around here. We're headed straight into the draft and we know exactly where we are going. We are going after top guy Ethan Webb. We need help for this offensive line. He is an all-over blocker. He can get the job done in the pass and the run. So wherever we put him, he will be great. Really happy to pick this one up. Now I can't wait to find out what the actual rating is on this pick, because in that first draft, it's kind of all over the place. And finally, we get a good rating here. Ethan Webb was technically ranked 3, so there are 2 better players in this class. We get him at 1 and we get the A+. Now the thought becomes, is it going to be possible to move back into roughly the top 5, or at least into the top 10, to go after that edge rusher? Well, I think first and foremost, I want to get outside the top 5. Outside the top 5, we might have a little bit more flexibility. And he's made it to at least pick 5, so let's see if he ends up going here to the Commanders. And no, I saw a Reyes, Tyler Reyes. So, Packers. I believe we traded with them in the first offseason. Would they be willing to talk? Well, first off, yes. Just trying to gauge their interest. Laramie Tunsil plus our 2nd round pick, a 6th round pick, a bunch of things that I do not want to give up. Though Tunsil, I would be open to. I don't want to give up a bunch of 1st round picks either. So, see if we can negotiate. And this is how far we are off for just straight up Laramie Tunsil. And I don't think it would have taken all of that then to make the deal happen. I do not want to give up really any of these top few rounds. I could give up a 4th, I believe. We need to go after the linebacker and the center to follow. So we're looking at maybe something next year to be a little bit better. If we toss in a 4, does that really move the bar much? A little bit. And this will get the job done, much less traversing around than that original selection they gave us. Laramie Tunsil, next year's 3rd. We get their 1st round pick and we get back a 6th for next year. So with that, I think so far we are winning this draft class, and potentially we could have taken that thing earlier about getting an 80+. I have a feeling that the offensive lineman might be an 80+ overall, but for now we're gonna go fill in a major hole now on our defense, going after Dockery. We know he's around 1 to 2. This is gonna be a little bit early, but he has the power moves and block shed. He's a dual style defensive lineman. They're hard to come by. We will be drafting him. As for what his grade is going to be, well, originally we saw draft mock 4, he was a top 5. So we might have hit this one right on the head. Or a little bit ahead. He was actually a true early round 2nd pick. 37th was his true ranking. We got him at 6, but he plays with good football IQ and recognition, possesses menacing bull rush, average speed for a linebacker. We are going to play him at the edge, so probably slightly above average then for edge rush. Now from here, we just got to get down to our 1st pick in the 2nd round. Mock drafts did not have our linebacker going. And now just a couple picks away. 31 here in the 1st round. It's Devin Teague. Final selection before ourselves. The Chiefs will not see from that screen, so we'll have to jump in here. Fingers crossed they did not steal our linebacker. As we go to our favorites, Morgan Pittman is still there. We will be picking up 3 top options. 3 of our 4 top options. So Morgan Pittman, you are selected. This one I feel like we're going to get a better grade. Are we going to get back into the A range like we were with that first pick, getting the A+? Well, it's our first look here at the War Room. Really like this addition here in Madden 25. It's the little things. And we do not actually go back into the A's. You tell me how. He was true 19. We got him at 33 and it's a B-. The grading just doesn't make sense here. Shows good speed for a linebacker, good awareness and reaction as a defender, dependable tackler. That is what we need. Now moving forward, Jake Miller. He is our round 3 to 4 guy. True round talent is 2 to 3, so expectation is he probably goes, I would say, early 3rd round. So we will move ahead till then. Cross your fingers, hope he is still there. Advance to next user pick. We are here, round 3, pick 1. Are we gonna hit 4 of 4 on all of our top options? Again, we go to our area and Jake Miller is still there. We will be hitting our top 4 options. We get more help for the offensive line. And with those 2 guys, that should solidify our starting lineup moving in to the next season. This one, a grade C. He was truly ranked 79, so we do overdraft him slightly at spot 65. He is a great pass blocker, anchors well when defending power moves. Quick hands, feet pose problems for speed rushers. It's a good thing we're not going to see too many speed rushers at center. Now into the 4th round here, there really isn't anyone I want to go after. I think this is a spot we could look to trade away, potentially for a player. Let's run through some rosters real quick. And after lots of shopping and negotiations, this trade seemed to be the best for us. And really, we're not losing out on much. We're going to get Herndon. He's listed at corner. I think we're going to play him at safety. Which spot, I'm not sure. He's 30 years old. So it's really a stopgap situation. We give up our 4th this year, but we get a 5th back next year. So we're really, again, not missing out on much at all. Now, we did not have a 5th round pick this year, so we're actually dropping all the way down to the 6th round. And I think we're at a good spot where we should look to add Braden Reynolds. Of all guys available, he seems to be the best. There is Austin Branch, who has fallen. The problem with him is that the ratings just really aren't that good. There is the B zone, but then there's no real run stop ability. Awareness is also at a C. If he happens to drop into the 7th round, then I would look to pick him up. But for now, I know where we need help, and that is along the line. So Braden Reynolds will be adding him to our list. Not much to talk about, just give me that rating, and it is a C. His true ranking 172, we go a little bit earlier, about 11 spots, 161. And into the start of that 7th round, indeed the linebacker does end up going. Is the offensive lineman here? No, he also ended up going. So with our final selection here, where do we look to go? Now this is an interesting option. Ramon Elston. He's 5'11", 221, 22 years old, also out of Vandy. We've drafted pretty much every option that we've had out of there. He's not necessarily the fastest, 4.66 to 4.6. Not necessarily the strongest overall. He's a mix of an athlete. He's got a little bit more speed than any sort of power. But he has B-man, B to D zone. With F block shedding, I'm wondering if he would actually fit better at a safety spot. Someone that we would have to develop and would mostly just be depth. His competition is a actual true safety in Richard Boyce out of Southern Miss, who's 5'11", 206, listed as a zone archetype. Speed is a little bit more, strength around the same. As for the skill set, it is D for man and zone is a C, so really it's nothing that special. Tackling is also an F. I feel like we go with a linebacker for our final selection. So Ramon Elston it will be. Where he plays, we'll find out rather quickly. As for his grade, it is an F. His true ranking was 441. We went 193, so he probably would have been available after the draft. We'll see where he fits. But really, the talk of this draft was at the top, and we hit on all of them. I will say Jake Miller, not the overall I was expecting. Expect maybe slightly higher here from Ethan Webb, but he is a hidden dev. That's another thing. We didn't check any of the devs, but he's coming in definitely well balanced. He will be starting at right tackle. Obviously not the same as Laramie Tunsil, but Tunsil did allow us to pick up several other spots and even some things in the future. So all in all, really happy here. The next two guys coming in at 74. Dockery is not a hidden dev, and this is listed at outside linebacker. If we quickly change him to edge, surprisingly, overall stays the same. 82 for power moves, block shedding at a 74. So it's not a complete lateral move from where we were with Johnson, but he's going to come in and fill in a pretty good role. Doesn't have as much speed as Johnson, 74 speed to what I believe was closer to an 80, but there is 80 strength there. So overall, I think he's a pretty solid guy and is going to help us fill in a hole. But really, the biggest hole was at linebacker, and we filled that with Morgan Pittman, 74 true hidden dev, as he's coming in here with 73 for block shedding, 66 zone, 57 man we'll need to work on. Now, while we may have not had the best overall here for Jake Miller, he is another hidden dev, so that will be 4 out of our 5 starting offensive linemen, all with a hidden dev, and pretty well balanced. Again, we knew that the run blocking needed some work, but he's going to be a good guy for the interior for pass blocking. Considering that we do pass about 70% of the time, Miller's a really good addition. Now, as for the depth, Braden Reynolds is a true 67, getting a +1, and he is already listed at left end. 75 finesse here. Again, we already knew there wasn't going to be any sort of help with the other ratings, block shedding and power moves, but that's pretty good here. 80 strength, 78 speed. He'll fit in. Now, lastly, Ramon Elston. Not a great selection. Normal dev, 56. Is he or would he be any better at safety? The block shedding is just awful, but the coverages are slightly better. I think we could check what he is at safety. If he's better, he'll stick there, but most likely he's practice squad at best. And in fact, the rating did go up a little bit. He's at a true 58, getting the +1. So he does fit better listed at safety, but he's still definitely going to be a practice squad if he ever even ends up making the roster. And we're gonna make one final move here before the season begins. Finally moving Elijah Moore. He's going to the Bengals. Instead, we're gonna bring in Forbes here. We get a 4th round pick for this year while also giving up a 6th round pick. So we move up into the mid rounds. We'll talk about why in a second. But that should be a really good move. We needed some more help in the secondary, and we had more receivers than we knew what to do with. But the reason we did decide to make that choice was because this draft class is very much centered towards mid-round talent. We've got a lot of guys here round 3 to 4. No guys in the 2nd round, so we're either going to have to move up or move down. Now, there are 2 first-round guys, Bob Williams, and there is one spot along the offensive line that not necessarily is locked in. I want to say that's left guard. Safety is also a little bit of a weird spot. We talked about making a move to bring in a stopgap player. I also moved a corner. Show that in a second. But Demetrius Doom, perhaps he could be one of the players we're looking for. So before we make a big move, which I feel like we could use at the DT spot, we're going to hold off, see how the team starts this season, and that would be more like a week 8 trade deadline kind of thing, so we get a better understanding of this draft class. There is Holloway and Black here, who again could fill out that guard spot if they end up being good, so we may not need that 1st round, especially if the safety is not very good. However, he is the only safety that we have in this draft class. Now, as for the starting roster, looking a little bit different here. Gainwell is going to step in as the running back 1. The power back and 3rd down back will be Gibson. So they should be splitting very heavily. It's going to be Metcalf and Hyatt, wide receiver 1 and 2. Mingo will then step in to go to the outside whenever we go to a 3 or more spread, as Hyatt will then go to the slot, as well as Jennings and probably Tillman. We'll see who better fits in that spot. Tight end stays exact same. A very young offensive line. Webb, Clinton, Miller, and Covington we have all drafted. Parham, the only original starter remaining. Defensively, things shaking up a little bit as well. As talked about, Deo is moving to DT this year, so it'll be him and Crumity down the middle. And now Sam Williams is going to have to partner up with Dockery, the true rookie. And then linebackers, pretty much all new starters. Watson, the only one who's been a semi-starter who is returning. Obviously, Pittman, one of the big guys from the draft. He's going to start here, as well as the guy from the previous draft class, the safety we turned into a linebacker, Woods. He actually ended up being a really good pickup for us because indeed he is starting. As for the cornerback spot, Golson and then Forbes will be 1 and 2. That's moving Dantzler to the slot, who was one of our safeties last year. Now it's going to be Herndon at free, and we moved Richardson from corner to strong safety, so we actually no longer have any starters on this defensive side who are in the 60s. That now leaves us a little bit closer. Team is definitely still favoring the offense, 80, defense of 77, but we did see improvement. But it's time to finally test out that defense and the little bit of improvement we did on the offense by jumping into the first game of Season 3. And it will be on offense where we get underway, which is a good segue into the new playbook we will be using, Minnesota's playbook, as we start with a run counter to what we're supposed to be doing. But technically, this playbook built on deep passing. I want to get this receivers down the field, use the arm streak here of Joe Milton. As we do find one of our receivers, it's Jalen Hyatt. He's coming off a 90 grab, near 1,300 yard season. Expect him to be really our primary option. As Gainwell tries to get to the outside, he picks up 1. This offensive line is improved, though definitely still has its weak spots. Getting that left guard not certain, center not good at run blocking, but we're doing a good amount of running to start as Gainwell gains well there with the first down. We really didn't have any balanced attack last year, and when we tried, it was actually to a detriment to our offense. See how it balances out to start here as we go fake jet sweep, going back to the run, and Gainwell picks up 3. So far definitely seems like the rushing here is a little bit more front heavy. I was wanting to do a little bit more passing, but we'll see how it shakes up as we go through the weeks. But if we're constantly picking up 3 to 4 yards per rush, I'm not hating it. Again, balance will be great, especially for Milton, as again, gashing down the middle, that time following the left guard in Parham. Both guards are going to be huge here for our center and helping secure that run blocking. As now we go Gibson, he's not sharing in the glory as much. Just a gain of 2 as 21 gets the stop. Now 2nd and 8. Can we look for a pass here? Let Milton rip it. Indeed we will, though we go flat. And it's maybe a gain of 1 for Dawson Knox. And DK maybe just injured the defender with the late game slap there. 3rd and 7, no flags come in. We appreciate it. Make it an empty set as Milton flings it out to Gainwell. Does not get the block, and after a promising drive, stalls out with a Stingley Jr. tackle, so we will have to send out Elliott. He did win best kicker for the AFC last year, starting with about a 41-yarder down the gut. And now it's time to check in on this improved defense, as it's a full house pistol look here to start for the Chargers. They go play action. Got a little bit of time to throw, but eventually it collapses, and the true rookie comes around the edge. First play of his NFL career is a sack. That's how you get things started here. Make it 2nd and 19. Has 2 receivers to the bottom plus a tight end. 1 lone up top. They decide to go with a handoff, and he's back again. Any worry right now about trading up, giving away Laramie Tunsil for him, I think, has been erased with a start like this. 3rd and 19. Time in the pocket is going to have to roll out with the interior rush, and there is Sam Williams. The combination of edge rushers hit on 3 straight plays, make it 3 and out. And now the offense runs into trouble immediately after 4th and inches with time about to expire here. First quarter, we are backed in our own territory, and we still hand it off. Yeboah will pick up the first as we get into the second. And as we continue on to start the second quarter, I want to see the offense finish off the drive with a touchdown. Again, first drive looked promising. Just kind of slowly faded as we go jet sweep. There goes Hyatt. He's going to pick up the first down, getting out with a gain of about 11. That'll be a nice new wrinkle to try to add to his game. Maybe a little receiver running. Bunch up top, DK at the bottom. Play action here. Milton goes down to the bottom once again. He finds Hyatt. This time a gain of 12. Back out of bounds. Didn't see much of the passing game the first drive. Look for a little bit more of that this drive as we go two spread either side. Though we do hand it off. Gibson picking up 3. Again, hoping that the heavier run game is actually going to help out the offense. Maybe that was a good reason of why we signed the extra running back. Motion at the top as we go Gainwell, who should have cut up a little bit sooner. He actually loses a yard. Still leaves his average, though, at a good spot. 4 yards per carry. 3rd and 8 at the 40. They bring the blitz, and Milton is swallowed up. Try to set up the halfback screen. At this point, though, you got to punt. And now not under heavy duress from the edge rush. Chargers offense actually moving here. They're into plus territory at the 37. They hand it to 37, who gets upended and freezes. And as he's no longer on the field here for 2nd and 4, hopefully he is okay. They do hand it back off with some room to run down inside the 15. Surprisingly, Nick Chubb, wearing 38, gets his team down to the 13 with a bunch down to the bottom, one up top. Got their tight end in motion here as they will look to pass. Time in the pocket, stepping up with some room to run. Much more than room, all the real estate to the end zone. Chargers take the lead. It's Kenny Pickett. And on the following drive, momentum even more now for the home team as it's an interception by Emmanuel McCord. So we started this game off feeling really good. Now it's definitely on a downwards trajectory. See if our defense can lighten the mood here as they go Chubb, who gets by the linebacker. I believe that was Nathaniel. And it'll carry us inside the 2-minute warning. Really could use a big play here from the defense. We've added a lot of new playmakers. Pickett passes across the middle. Wide open is the tight end, who is down at the 11. Chargers in the opposite trajectory of ourselves. Started slow building here as we get the big hit. I want to say Deo is wearing 91. For some reason, I always mix up his number and Crumity's. 2nd and 10. Pickett, easy dump off, finds 87 down to the 4. They're looking to tack on some points here before the end of this half. They've still got a minute to find something, though. Only a couple more plays. And they found it on that one. Jamar Chase will give them 2 touchdowns this first half, leaving us behind by 2 scores. So with that, I think we got to jump out here with the offense then. Run a 59-second drive if possible. As we got an open target, get it out to Knox quickly. Gonna have to definitely run some hurry up from there. Didn't get as much as we were hoping for. Keeping the trip set to that left-hand side. They bring the corner blitz, actually cover it well, and they're gonna say that's a fumble. Slip in the tackle, make it a 3-score lead. First half implosion following 2 pretty good drives to start. Nakobe Dean makes it 21-3. Really not what you were looking for. Not that you ever hope that your offense has that kind of implosion. Bunch to the right-hand side. Still going to try something here. Under pressure, he fumbles again. Well, Milton has not started off too well today. I think Coach is going to have to find a quick fix for it. As swinging it to the outside, we do find Hyatt, who gets a nice juke, a little bit of speed here, at least as much as he had, to about midfield. Huge play there from Hyatt, considering that ball nearly was swatted away. 2 spread to either side here. Milton trying to answer back from a poor start, going back to Hyatt. Pass off the mark. But with 9 seconds left, you got to consider at least just getting into field goal range here. Jake Elliott can hit from around the 42. As they do go to Hyatt, he's going to get him well into range, down, and we'll call the timeout there. 3 seconds left. Wasn't exactly what we were looking for, but we find the points. We make it 21-6 here at half. But it's not taking long for the Chargers to get into range to open up the third. 2 big shots downfield. Kenny Pickett feeling good under pressure, though. That one not a fumble. They'll give Pickett the forward arm momentum, say incomplete. Wish we had that earlier. Wouldn't be 21-6. As he'll look to pass again here. Second quick throw. Finds 87. The rookie Pittman gets the quick tackle on him, leaving a 3rd and 4 just inside the 30. Pittman quick pass to a wide open target. I believe that was Emmanuel Forbes who just got burned. And it's a Dunze into the end zone. Well, as it stands to open up this season, nothing good so far for us, which is the opposite to how things have typically gone for us to at least open up the game. We've normally had a really good game, but we haven't finished off the season very well, so perhaps a really bad game to start, as Chubb here makes it 35-6, will just indicate that maybe we're about to have a really good season after a rude awakening here in week 1. As the 4th quarter arrives, the offense is finally moving. First trip inside the red zone. Need a touchdown. We go down to the bottom, and you guessed it, it's Hyatt. Once again, the only highlight so far for our offense has been Hyatt. We got Mingo down to the bottom with him, DK up top with Knox. But we'll hand this one off with a stretch down to the bottom and into the end zone. First touchdown of the season goes to Gainwell, and I will say, he's got the running game going a heck of a lot more than last year. Now with that touchdown, he might have sparked this team a little bit. Defense got a 3-and-out, offense right back into plus territory, trying to at least make it look closer on the scoreboard than how it maybe actually went. Mingo gets the catch. While he had time out on the field last couple seasons, he showed a lot of promise. Well, now he's going to have a lot more time out there. 2nd and 3, Milton Hyatt, and he holds on to it. This guy has just been phenomenal. As we do not have a fullback, we're actually going to have Gibson play that this year. See him coming out here, as he'll help lead the way for Gainwell, or at least on paper that was the case. Obviously didn't happen, which is why he's not out here for 2nd and 8. As we look for a pass, Milton will scramble. He finds a wide open target, and just kidding, Gibson was out there. He just was not at running back. He played out at receiver, and he gets the 2nd touchdown. So after the first 2 years really not having anything to do with the running backs, they're the first 2 to score in season 3. And we keep the offense out there for a 2-point try, trying to put us within 2 touchdowns with about 3 minutes left in this one. Milton finds it. Who to? Mingo. Now, I don't want to call it a comeback because we just attempted the onside kick here. We did not recover, so the Chargers already start at about midfield as Nick Chubb makes it 3rd and 3 and picks up the first down with 2 straight gains of 5, putting him inside the 2-minute warning. Stevenson, he's going to pick up a chunk, and then getting another first down is Chubb, as they are definitely moving closer to. We do hold, but it's still back to a 3-score game here late. So we do not end up making the comeback, but at least the offense did not give up. 38-21, not how we were wanting to start this season, but it's different to how we started the last couple, and we need a different season. As we jump immediately into the start of the 4th quarter here, week 2, we are down 4 points, and it's a 4th and 1. And we keep it with the ground, and Gibson will pick up the first. This is a prime opportunity for us. After getting washed in week 1, we have a chance at an upset here against the Eagles. They are a much better opponent on paper than ourselves, but Milton has got to get rid of that one. He ends up sitting back there, taking the sack. Pocket collapsed around him. He needed to step forward. He definitely hasn't had that great of a start to this season. And after last year, he does find Mingo here, though, getting us back down to the 2. But after last season, more inclined to look at the option of Arrington, QB2, who is a star dev. Ratings aren't as good, but they're close enough. Running game has just been great, though, to get us going. Haven't had it the first 2 years. It's what we've had to start season 3. Gibson puts us in front. Now it'll just be up to the defense to not hold it. 70 yards? We couldn't even go one play. before the Eagles immediately come back and take the lead. Well, back down by 4 points. We'll need another touchdown drive here as we start with the faster sim view. I don't really know what to call this part, but we do get the first down. DK, he picks up 6. We need him to have a big year. 2nd and 10. 3 goes back to Gibson on the rush, leaving us with a 4th and 1. Now that might be a long one considering it was a 3 and we had gained 5 and then, 4th and 1. So either way here, 4th and 1. Got to make sure we have it. Hesitation though, we do still find Hyatt, who will get us down to the 30. And I think from here, we've got to take our time with it. About 3 minutes, 40 seconds. I would like a touchdown, but to take off all the time with it though, deep shot tipped away, intended for Mingo. Just like that, we've got a 3rd and 10. Not taking any time off the clock with shots like that. We then go with a handoff, and we don't have it. A 4th and 8. We do have timeouts, and it looks like Coach Manning is going to bank on the defense, who just gave up the one-play 70-yard touchdown. Elliott to make it a 1-point game. He nails it. Of course, we could have made our team go for it, but didn't want to miss the opportunity of making this a field goal game. Just got to rely on the defense. Big hit coming in. I don't remember Forbes. Okay, never checked to see what number he was wearing. Apparently 39. Don't know how I feel about that. But 2 spread either side here leaves 2nd and 6. As they're taking their time in the backfield, letting that play clock roll. Motions out the running back, make it an empty set, snapping it with 2 seconds, back across the middle and picking up the first down. That will be the 2-minute mark. Eagles have themselves a young quarterback here, Hollenbeck. It's either his 1st or 2nd season as he's trying to lead his team to a 2-0 start. Big hit comes in, our rookie. Pittman slams him down with a no gain. Timeout called. We've got 2 more remaining. As they go back to the running game, slashing us, 1st down. Richardson drags him down. But now we've got to be perfect from here on out. We do end up calling that 2nd timeout there. We have 1 more remaining. As they hand it off back down the middle, Pittman there to get the tackle. If only he was there in the previous play. No timeouts remaining. 1:48. They got a 2nd and 8. We're trying to stack the front, though they go with more of a stretch style. Pittman there again. And now with the injury from Brown, that's a timeout. Leaving us with a 3rd and 3, about field goal range though. Got to get the stop. Double A gap look, but they go empty. We only rush 4, and that 1st down will seal it. We end up coming up a point shy. Perhaps we should have been more aggressive there on offense, considering that we know our defense has not had the best start. Bad choice from the coach, cost us a game. And we didn't just cost ourselves the win in that game. Jalen Hyatt broke his hand. He'll be out the next couple games, as well as Kenneth Gainwell, who broke his collarbone. Now down to 2 running backs. Got to have some guys step up as we're about to head into our first divisional game. But I also have to wonder a little bit, do we consider playing a little bit more of Kenny Arrington to get a look at him? Preseason-wise, he hasn't been great, but he's also played with all the backups. Joe Milton, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 65%, 445 yards in just 2 games? I'm starting to wonder. I think we'll give Milton another opportunity here at the Jags. If he doesn't do well, maybe we do make a switch. So as we get going here, might focus a little bit more on the offense. We'll jump in and watch some of the defense if they get down into the red zone. But it's actually a stop on drive 1, a 3 and out from the defense to start divisional play. That was what we needed. Now we just need the offense to take that next step themselves. Starting at the 20. It's going to be play action roll. Milton hesitates and then gets rid of it. Now, of course, we are starting 4 very young offensive linemen. I expect there will be some learning curve, but it's still the best group that we've had yet in this series, and that's even losing Laramie Tunsil. So expect a better overall offensive line performance, but we got to pick up the 3rd down here. We go spread empty. Of course, we're missing Hyatt. He's been the top guy. As we do find DK, he's got to step up. With a receiving core like this, we shouldn't just be seeing one guy have success. Should be DK as well as Hyatt. Mingo has showed promise. Of course, we're also missing Gainwell, so Gibson, the main running back. Not really coming off a strong performance in that last game, just over 2 yards a rush. Leaves us here with 2nd and 7. Milton throws the pick. I think he was looking for DK there. Knox also in the area. But Peyton Wilson sets up the Jags, and now they're trying to take advantage of it as Hawkinson gets them down to the 11 or so. 7-yard rush, Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry in for 7, so they capitalize off our early mistakes here on offense. 7-0 as we'll continue here going through this menu. If we get into plus territory, we will then jump in. Well, Juwan Jennings, he gets us close enough. But now Milton really needs a touchdown here to go back again, level on touchdowns to turnovers, sitting at 2-3 now. DK in motion to the backfield. As we do hand it off, what good is the receiver doing there? I'm no offensive genius, but I'm assuming it's supposed to be some form of misdirection, but I don't think anyone's expecting DK to do anything way back there. Play action roll, looking downfield wide open, we find Jonathan Mingo. Just continues to be the youngest group here, putting the work in at receiver. I need more from Metcalf. Bunch up top as we quickly fling it out there back to Mingo, who will power through the block. Now, of course, with Gibson being out, we no longer have a fullback, so we're going to see a little bit of Yeboah there as we go with a pitch. Gibson not quite going to find the edge. He picks up 3. It's what he's averaging today. Though with 5 carries only having 15 yards, it's not the best start. 3rd and 2 as we move inside 32 seconds. We do hand it off, and Gibson does not get it 4th and inches. I don't agree with that spotting. As we start the second quarter, it's the offense who will stay out there. Looks like Milton trying to make sure the offensive line has everything dialed up as they should. It's a weak side to that left-hand side. That's where they attack. They get a good block. Gibson, he slips one, gets the first down at about the 5. He didn't polish off the drive, but he does keep it going. Back now with a fullback, 2 receivers to the bottom. It's going to be a play-action pass again. He threw it straight to one of the linebackers. I think we might have to see Arrington step out next drive. That is just a poor start for Joe Milton. We'll see how long the wait is for that to take place as Moore starts him off with 13. Franklin gets 1. Then they lose 3. Someone got a TFL. 3rd and long. They pick it up. No problem. John Mechie, 23 yards. Then no gain to follow. 12. Yeah, okay, so anytime they don't have a good play, expect a good play to follow. So that doesn't happen there. 3rd and 10 following the knockaway from the rookie. Jags get it done. Troy Franklin just can't finish off these big plays here on defense. And Mechie gets them back in the end zone. But now it's time to see Arrington. What I'm starting to think, it's either going to have to be Arrington who elevates this offense, or we got to change our playbook back to what we were running. As we run here, we pick up the first down. Gibson, not considering 4th down conversions, probably the best run of the night here for us. As we've got Knox in motion, going to make it 3 up top, 1 down to the bottom. Knox well behind the line. Why a tight end screen like that? I get this is the Vikings playbook, but I really don't see the Vikings doing that with TJ Hawkinson. We lose 6 as we got 2nd and 16. Trying to set up the halfback screen, check it into the turf. Perhaps it isn't Milton, and it is this offensive playbook. 3rd and 16. Can the young quarterback do something special here? Well, he'll step up to run. He gets a block, and he's got the first down and more. About an extra 7. Makes that a near gain of 25. We asked for the big play. He delivered. Bunch up top, DK to the bottom as he goes play action. And rockets it downfield. He finds his target. Not DK. 84, Juwan Jennings. Definitely took me a hot minute to realize that. But it does send us inside the 2-minute warning. As we bring the fullback back out here. Will be a 3-step drop in. Getting it there just in time. Mingo with a grab and an injured offensive lineman here. That was our star at guard. He's now out. That'll bring out Newman and a near pick there. It's a good thing we at least have depth for the offensive line. Not a good thing that we almost threw the pick. 3rd and 4. Need a touchdown this drive. Arrington throws to the bottom, and this time it's picked. Same as last time. Different quarterback throwing it, and he shucks him off. Luckily, he trips. Jags have a huge opportunity off the 2nd pick from Jonathan Cooper. And of course, after 2 straight incompletions, they hit the 3rd down conversion. We do get a sack. It's Nathaniel Watson. They get 5 after 3rd and long, and they get 18. Defense just can't finish these opportunities, nor can the offense either. Give it up again on 3rd and 1, and they are back into the end zone, 21-0. We're going to start moving through this one a little bit quicker then. We're actually going to get through the 3rd quarter. See if the offense can spark any sort of comeback, as I started that too soon. Now we're going to get through the 3rd quarter. Offense finally does score, but only once. So we get through a decent chunk there. We'll slow things down. 3rd and 7 at midfield. We now have a 4th and 4. And you know we're stepping out here to try to help out this offense. Good news is our starting guard is back out there. Right guard, he's in his 2nd season. And Knox forgot to catch the ball. It's a turnover on downs. So definitely has not been the start to the season we were hoping for. Jaguars again march down the field. They make it now 31-7. Offense finally for us driving. We're down to the 10, 3rd and 2. Just trying to find something to build upon here. And I'm definitely going to be changing the playbook going into the next episode. This trial run has not been good. Knox holds on to that catch, though. As the quick stats flash at the bottom, Arrington has already thrown 2 picks, so both quarterbacks are just throwing the ball away left, right, and center. Hopefully we don't do that here, and we won't. DK, at least we'll tack on a touchdown here. But these are 3 games that have not gone too well. And luckily, this one ends without any more points going to Jacksonville. They've led this division the last 2 years, and they are clear on top to start season 3. And after a rough start like that does see us start 0-3. Surprisingly, Jacksonville Jaguars technically not at the top. Houston is rivaling them out the gate here. Both of them are 2-1. We've got a lot of work to do. We start next episode against the 0-3 Giants, and we have a D-line breakout. I really hope that is, I want to say interior for the defensive line, because I feel like we do need some help there. The defensive line is not doing well enough. I would like to make a trade. There's one guy in particular but that'll have to depend on what we find out about the scouting. So that will all come next episode. But before we head out, just a quick update here. Offense sitting middle of the table, 15th. Defensively, so bad we're not even ranked, apparently. Neither quarterback off to a great start. Arrington finally got a chance to see some playing time. He had 2 touchdowns. He also had 2 interceptions, 71% complete. Joe Milton got pulled in that game after 2 interceptions. Maybe he also would have found 2 touchdowns. Who knows? We're definitely going to switch back to the Rams playbook before next episode, because the offense was cooking in that. See if we get back to it. We'll get Hyatt back in, I think, a game or 2. And try to find some form of role. If we could make it in the wild card, that would be great. We are well down right now. A streak will help. But trying to find something positive to end on. The rookie linebacker is well on his way to unlocking his hidden dev. He's leading the team currently by 12 tackles more than the very next guy in Richardson, who is a brand new starter as well. TFL-wise, Sam Williams is starting off really well. One thing here in Madden 25, no matter what you choose, speed rusher or power rusher upgrades, your run stopping gets jacked way up. So he's going to be a good run stopper. I would like to see more sacks, though. We need a little bit more of that. We need some turnovers. We need some interceptions. So if our corners can step up, I think we'll be able to find that streak this team needs. So make sure you don't miss out on if this team can find that streak. Hit that bell icon on the bottom right, or scroll down at the sub button. Definitely tap that bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Tuesday, Thursday. Those days will be all the Madden videos post this series College football Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the Stanford Cardinal Dynasty. Just had a fantastic episode, last one on Monday. You do not want to miss Wednesdays either.